More conducive to the photograph.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, ready? Yes, all righty, okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon. We are here today to announce how Lexington is joining a national effort to fight homelessness among veterans. And I'm pleased to be joined by Austin Sims, who's Executive Director of the Lexington Fayette Urban County Housing Authority. And you'll hear from Austin in just a minute. And also Emma Metcalf, who is Director of the Lexington VA Medical Center, and Roger Leonard from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Louisville Field Office. Also, Charlie Lanter, who is Director of the city's new Office of Homelessness Prevention and Intervention. It's also good to see members of the Mayor's Commission on Homelessness. Up here with me is Sheriff Kathy Witt and Janice James from the Hope Center. And it's good to see members and representatives from our partner agencies that provide important services to veterans and to other citizens who are homeless. Today we are announcing that Lexington has officially committed to the Mayor's Challenge to end veteran homelessness. The Mayor's Challenge is a new nationwide drive recently unveiled at the White House. Lexington is joining cities and organizations across the country working to end chronic homelessness. Everyone deserves a safe, clean place they can call home, especially the men and women who have served our country. Accepting this challenge is the right thing to do, and Lexington's strong network of partners who serve veterans and other citizens who are homeless will be an important part of this commitment. So what is Lexington doing to meet the Mayor's Challenge? It starts with a solid foundation of service providers. Everyone here represents an organization dedicated to serving veterans and people who are experiencing homelessness. This work happens every day, every single day across Lexington. But we are also excited to announce an expansion of rental assistance available to local homeless veterans. So now I want to ask Austin Sims to share details of this new program and this voucher system. Austin?
Thank you, Mayor Gray. Let me just recognize one of our board members, Darrell Smith, as well as a couple of staff people that run our VASH program, Aldine Pleasant, the manager, and the assistant manager, Tanya Christopher. In our community, in our society, we have a phrase that's often overused, but it's let me give a shout out. And so today, the Housing Authority gives a shout out to Mayor Gray with his affordable housing initiatives and what he's just announced and signed on with HUD to do. A shout out to local housing advocates, a shout out to constituents that we serve, a shout out to HUD for the opportunity to increase our VASH program of serving veterans with an additional 51 units. A shout out to our partner in the VA program that you'll hear from in just a few minutes. Yes, today, and the mayor just used the term, excited. We're excited, and Lexington should be equally excited. In 2008, just 6 years ago, we had no vouchers designated for veterans. Today, with the added 51 vouchers, we can serve 246 veterans. We work in partnership with the VA hospital, and they do the VA administration, they do the counseling, and we provide the housing, a program that clearly works in terms of partnership. We believe it is a collaborative effort in partnering with local government, the VA, and other like partners that allow us to continue our quest to end homelessness. Absolutely, we believe, worth a shout out. Thank you.
Austin, thanks. Austin, thanks so much. As Austin said, the HUD Vash program, that stands for Veterans Administration Supportive Housing. That program is all about providers collaborating and working together to get veterans the help they need. Now, Dean Miller. Dean, raise your hand. Dean Miller is the Veterans Program Coordinator at St. James Place and has seen firsthand the benefit of VASH vouchers. Now, here to share their experiences on this program are two key partners, Emma Metcalf from the Lexington VA Medical Center and Roger Leonard from the Housing and Urban Development Department. Emma?
Pull this down just a tad bit. Good afternoon. I'm Emma Metcalf, the director of the Lexington VA Medical Center. No one who has served our country should ever go without a safe, stable place to call home. In 2009, President Obama and former Secretary Shinseki committed to the ending of homelessness among veterans. In response, VA developed a number of innovations and transformation based on the principle that the solution to homelessness is permanent housing with wraparound supportive services. We have become more community-based and veteran-centric with a focus on meeting veterans where they are and helping them to move forward to improve their health and housing stability. We now have an array of programs and connect homelessness and at-risk veterans with various levels of needs for housing and support necessary to end and to prevent homelessness as quickly as possible. Since VA first committed to ending homelessness, the number of homeless veterans that have used VA programs to obtain permanent housing has increased 86%, from over 18,440 in 2009 to nearly 36,000 in 2012. The primary reason for this increase has been the increased investment programs for HUD VA, supporting housing, and HUD Vash. The HUD Vash program is a joint effort between the Department of Housing and Urban Development and VA supportive housing to help veterans and their families out of homelessness and into permanent housing. HUD provides housing assistance through their Housing Choice Voucher program that allows homeless veterans to rent privately owned housing. We launched our HUD Vash program in early 2008. Beginning with 35 housing vouchers. Since then, we have provided HUD voucher services to veterans from Fayette County to the outlying areas of Pulaski County. Since we've expanded to 195 vouchers and collaborate with other organizations, including the Lexington Housing Authority, to move veterans directly into permanent housing and provide the wraparound services and case management to help our veterans to maintain housing, to make connections to employment and income supports, and improve health and overall quality of life. And here's how we've done that with our community partners. We actively work with the local shelters and food pantries, visiting them almost daily to identify and reach homeless veterans. We attend the Central Kentucky Housing and Homeless Coalition. This is the group of agencies in Fayette County that serve people experiencing homelessness. We participate in the point in time count every other year through HUD. There is one night across the nation, each state goes out and counts people that are homeless, under-sheltered and sheltered. HUD uses this to determine the population of homeless people across the nation. We coordinate the annual Stand Down for Homelessness, which will be held October the 16th this year at Central Christian Church here in Lexington. I know many of you support this outreach effort. We also offer homeless veteran health care and a variety of supportive services, such as obtaining employment and case management through numerous programs that are interrelated with HUD Vash. And while we have put this energy and resources into ending homelessness, we cannot do this alone. We need to work together. Organizations and individuals and communities across the county and across the country, and and key to providing services to veterans and spreading the word about the resources VA provides to end and prevent homelessness among veterans. No veteran should be homeless. To reach the goal of eliminating homelessness now and for future generations, we need everyone to accept the President's challenge as a personal call to action. With his continued support and focus, we can and will achieve this important goal. Thank you.
Emma, thanks so much. It's a real pleasure for me now to introduce Roger Leonard from the Louisville office of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I wanted to, in introducing Roger, I'll share with you that his friends at HUD describe him as an entrepreneurial civil servant and public servant. And I suspect that many of you know that that's a real tribute. What Roger has done has been an advocate for Lexington in many ways, in many dimensions, and this is just another example of that. Roger, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to all, Honorable Mayor, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. When I was originally approached by the White House and by the regional office in Atlanta concerning the White House initiative on ending veterans' homelessness, as a veteran, I was very interested in that. I served 20 years in submarines, so I know a little bit about how my brothers need perhaps a hand up every once in a while. So it's near to my heart, and I was happy to take the commission. And the first city that I thought of when I was looking at making a recommendation for this and facilitating this request was the city of Lexington, and especially given Mayor Gray's, the city council, and the community's effort to really reach out and innovate within their community to do things that we normally don't see done at the local level, to assign local monies to facilitate movement forward as a macro effort for homeless issues. I would cite specifically the $500,000 that come off of the budget surplus that the mayor was a leader on in bringing to this resolution, to the facility that was created throughout the community to address homelessness as a macro issue, and also to serve veterans. And then more importantly, all of the staff changes that he made. Charlie is a great partner with us, and he brings on a lot of expertise that we will harness and move forward with our efforts dealing with veterans homelessness, but also homelessness across the community of Lexington, Fayette Urban County government. We are here to facilitate, and I do appreciate the kind words by the mayor concerning the entrepreneurial attack that I do. I come from the private sector after the military. I ran 2 large companies, and I look at things perhaps a little different than most federal servants, public servants do. I want to make things happen. I know that when we deal with homelessness as an issue, we have to deal with job creation, we have to deal with community development, and we have to take a look at it as a holistic approach. And I think as a first effort, as a focused effort to focus on veterans who've served our military and served our country in many ways, have had great loss personally, I think it's very commendable to move this forward. And I am very proud to be part of it. And I'm very proud that I could make this recommendation for Lexington. I was very pleased that the mayor picked up the challenge, and it was my expectation from the very beginning he would. He's a good man, you have a great mayor, and it's great to be part of this process. And the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development commits to moving this forward as expeditiously, as effectively, and as far as we can to resolve this issue. We do have this goal. We would like to move it ahead fast. We would like to make further strides. Many people have talked about 2015. I think most of us that are pragmatic knows that this is a long-term process. We will take the gains where we can find them, and we certainly appreciate the partnership and collaboration of our other federal agencies, the VA especially. We appreciate the USDA for what they do in our communities along this line and community development. But more importantly, we thank Mayor Gray for his engagement. We thank Mr. Sims at the Housing Authority for all they do and all they will do. And we certainly look forward to resolving this issue and minimizing veterans' homelessness to the greatest extent and possibly extinguishing it. We certainly appreciate the cooperation of the community and the understanding of the vitality of this particular project and request by the U.S. government. and we will do everything we can to support. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for that. Thanks so much, Roger. Now, before we go further with today's announcement, I want to recognize some folks from the Kentucky Office of Employment and Training: David Kuhn, Denise Jones, Charles Bell, and Nathan Church, who all work to find jobs for veterans. All of you know that outside of family health and having a roof over your heads, perhaps having a good job is about the most important thing in life. Everyone in the world wants a good job. We know that it gives purpose and meaning to life. I want to share a quick story that perhaps would not have occurred without the Office of Employment and Training. A few weeks ago, I received an email from a mother who had moved here from Texas with her son, an Iraq War veteran. This young man was having trouble finding a civilian job and, understandably, growing frustrated. Well, we ended up putting him in touch with Bruce Squire, the local Veterans Employment Representative at the Kentucky Career Center. Within a couple of weeks, Bruce sent my office a note saying that this young man had had a successful interview with a local manufacturing company and would be starting work the next day. That's a great illustration of why having these partnerships is such a big deal. They are making a difference, and they are improving quality of life for our citizens. As many of you know, the city committed $3.5 million to affordable housing and homelessness earlier this year. It led to the creation of the Office of Homelessness Prevention and Intervention. Charlie Lanter, the director of that office, has been busy ever since, over the last 2 months, meeting with service providers and looking at ways we can build on our partnerships. Today, we are also excited to announce a new pilot project that Charlie will oversee called Housing First. Under the Housing First model, homeless individuals are provided with permanent housing first, and then surrounded with support services they may need to remain in that home. This program is recognized as a best practice by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Rogers Home, and the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, and we are eager to see it implemented here in Lexington. A request for proposals, an RFP, for the Housing First project was issued just this week. All right, I want to thank you all again for joining us today, and the floor is, I will be happy to field any questions that we've got from any of you and from the press.